Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Kyle explains the real reason she still hasn't been to Mauricio's new place. Mauricio Umansky moved out of the Encino house he shared with Kyle Richards back in the spring of 2024, and today, she still has yet to see his new condo. The diamond holder opened up about why on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, after show for season 14, episode 12. I still have not been to Mao's condo, Kyle explained. And once again, it's not intentional. It just hasn't worked out. The mom of four may have a reason to go to her estranged spouse's new place soon, though. Actually, now, I have my valuables that I sent there because of the fires, so I can go whenever I want to get them, she continued. I just haven't been there yet, but Portia Umansky dropped off the valuables. Though she initially said that she just hadn't gotten around to seeing Mauricio's new place, Kyle soon changed her tune. I do think it would be a little weird going over there and seeing a bachelor pad. I don't know that life of his and that part of him, she admitted. Whenever I see pictures of him on the internet out and about, it looks in my mind like two different people to me, so it would be weird, but that's not why I'm not going. Kyle previously opened up about how difficult it was for her to adjust to their new living situation on season 14, episode 11 of RHOBH. The couple met up to chat about Mauricio's move, and he asked her what it had been like to be in the Encino house without him. I mean, it's quiet sometimes, you know, she said. You're like in a new place, and it feels new and different. And it's like I'm in our home. After discovering that Dorit Kemsley still had photos of her and Paul P.K. Kemsley displayed in her home on season 14, episode 12, Kyle revealed on that RHOBH after show that she has since taken down some of the pictures of her and Mauricio. I just last week took the ones down next to my bed. I left the family ones up and then put the other ones of just Mao and me in the drawer. It was time, she said. I mean, he definitely doesn't have them up in his condo. Kyle explains the real reason she still hasn't been to Mauricio's new place. It had been a while since Mauricio and Kyle had last seen each other in person. Their lives had always been intertwined, but lately the demands of their separate worlds had pulled them in different directions. Mauricio had settled into his new place, an expansive modern house in the hills, complete with sweeping views, glass walls, and a chic minimalist vibe. Everyone had heard about it, everyone had seen the photos, and everyone had eagerly asked Kyle when she was going to check it out. After all, she was one of Mauricio's closest friends. So when she finally made the decision to address it, Kyle leaned back in her chair and, with a wry smile, began to explain. Look, people have been asking me this for months now, Kyle started, her voice thick with a mix of humor and disbelief. I mean, it's like there's some universal expectation that just because someone's been friends with someone for as long as I've known Mauricio, I should have been there the day he moved in, right? She paused, letting out a little laugh at the absurdity of it all. Her eyes danced with the kind of mischief that suggested she wasn't entirely serious, but there was also a knowing sadness there, a layer to her tone that hinted at the complexities beneath the surface. It's not that I don't want to see his new place. Believe me, I'm dying to see it, especially after all the updates he's been sending me. But the truth is, I haven't gone yet because, well, there's just so much more to it than a simple house tour. Kyle leaned forward slightly, as if trying to explain something she knew was going to be hard for others to understand. It wasn't that she was hiding the truth or being secretive, it was just complicated. And complicated situations needed to be unpacked with care. You see, Mauricio and I, we go way back. We've had some serious history. There are some things between us that don't just fade away with time, even though we're both in different places now. And his new place, it's more than just a house. It's a symbol of everything he's built, everything he's achieved, and in some ways, everything he's left behind. And when I walk into that place, I can't help but feel like it's not just a new chapter for him. It's a whole new story, one that I'm not part of anymore. She exhaled deeply, as if carrying a weight she hadn't realized was there until now. I know it sounds dramatic, but think about it. He's got this gorgeous new house, this fresh start. And then there's me, still living in the same space, still doing the same things. But with this, well, this old baggage that keeps with her bracelet, tracing the smooth metal with her fingers, her thoughts swirling. Mauricio's new life was a glaring reminder of the things that had shifted. It wasn't just a house, it was a physical manifestation of change. And that change, while exciting and promising for him, felt almost like a cruel reminder to Kyle that she wasn't there yet. Not in the same way he was. I think I've been avoiding it, to be honest, she continued, her voice softening. Not because I don't want to be happy for him or see him thriving, but because, I don't know, it just brings up all this stuff from the past. I've always been part of his life, whether it was when we were working together, or hanging out at his place, or just being there when he needed someone. And now it feels like I'm the one who's standing still, watching him move forward while I'm here, not quite sure what my next step is. She ran a hand through her hair, a gesture that seemed to underscore the frustration of the situation. And it's not even that Mauricio's the problem. He's always been supportive. It's just, everything is changing around me, and it feels like I'm not keeping up. Kyle sat back, staring at the ceiling for a moment before her gaze shifted back to the conversation. But you know what? I've been thinking about it a lot, and maybe it's time to face the music. I need to stop pretending that I'm not affected by all of this. It's okay to feel a little bit of jealousy, a little bit of confusion. It's okay to admit that it's hard to see someone so close to you move on, especially when you're not sure where you stand in the grand scheme of things. She smiled, a little wistful. I guess that's the real reason I haven't been to his new place. I'm still figuring out where I fit into his world now. It's not about the house, not really. It's about everything that house represents. The new life, the changes, the distance. I guess I need a little more time to get used to the fact that he's not the same person he was when we first met. And maybe I'm not the same either. Kyle paused, letting the words settle. There was a quiet vulnerability in her expression now. She wasn't trying to avoid the reality of the situation anymore. She had always been a bit of an open book, but this was something deeper, something that required more than just a quick explanation or a superficial excuse. This was about her own growth, her own journey, and the acceptance that sometimes things just didn't fit together in the way you hoped. But don't get me wrong, she said with a chuckle, trying to lighten the mood. I'm not saying I'm going to avoid it forever. I'm sure I'll be there soon, hopefully before I turn into some kind of hermit living in the past. I just need to find my own way to embrace the change, and when I'm ready, I'll be there. Not just for him, but for myself too. With that, she settled back in her chair, feeling a little lighter for having finally said what had been lingering for so long. It was a strange thing, this dance of growth and friendship. Sometimes it took a little distance, a little space, to understand why you hadn't done something you thought you would. But Kyle knew she would be okay, and when the time came, she'd step into that new space, ready to see the world through fresh eyes, her own eyes.